And as promised, Congressman Clyburn joins us now. Thanks for being here, sir.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Congressman, this seems important to you. It seems personal. And I don't have to remind viewers, although I did, the link that you have with President Biden. Tell us what you're advocating right now.
Well, you know, Ari, the discussion about the filibuster has been going on for a long, long time, over a century. The fact of the matter is, the filibuster came into being in the early 1900s, and it was supposed to be to extend debate in order to protect the rights of the minority. And that's fine if you're extending the debate. But if you are using the technicality of a 60-vote rule to sit in your office somewhere, or maybe go on vacation and put a hold on somebody or something, that to me is a big, big problem. Now, when Strom Thurmond set the filibuster record, he was on the floor for over 27 hours, standing on the floor, extending the debate. That's fine. But what we're doing now is stopping fundamental constitutional rights to have one person, for instance, I'll call his name Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, who has already demonstrated to us what he really thinks about people of color, when he would not be threatened by insurrectionists, but would be threatened by people of color if they're demonstrating on the Capitol grounds. You think that guy is going to relent and allow people of color to have their constitutional voting rights, their civil rights? No. So why should we empower these kind of people if they should get elected to office? So that's what's got me a little bit miffed. When we sit here and say that someone's constitutional right to have an unfettered vote is threatened, we're going to allow that to continue with a filibuster. No, that cannot be.
It seems to me you're speaking very clearly, sir, here with 2 points. It's not even about debate when it's being abused this way. And how much power should Democrats allow people who are going to demagogue and attack the hard-earned voting rights of regular people in this nation? With that in mind, can you give us a window into, have you discussed this recently with the president, or will you?
Well, I have not discussed it with the president, but I have discussed it with some of the president's people. I do believe that the president's got a whole lot to do. He doesn't need to be talking to me. But the people who are helping him to carry out his agenda, I do talk to some of them, and I would hope that they would understand. I've got children, I've got grandchildren. I don't want my grandchildren fighting the same battles that I fought as a teenager, along with John Lewis and many others, going to jail, trying to get the right to vote. And here we are all of a sudden going to have someone stand up and says, no, your vote won't count. All you got to do is look at what happened in 2020. They were not challenging the votes in white precincts. Fulton County, Georgia. They're out there up in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, challenging the votes in African-American precincts. So we know what they're doing. And I cannot see us standing idly by and says we are going to respect the rights of the minority. It's minority of the voters that is causing the problem. So we're going to respect the rights of the minority that's trying to prevent the majority from voting? I don't think so. Let's think about what we're saying here. So when anybody says that I got to look out for my minority voters, I'm going to ask you, aren't I a minority voter?
Yeah. I mean, look, you speak very clearly, sir. I will tell you, some of these politicians, some senators, it's hard to follow sometimes what they're even saying about the parliamentary thicket. You've really boiled it down. I think viewers can hear what you're saying about whether this is going to be fair or not. I want to put to you what Mitch McConnell says. Because notwithstanding all the arguments you just made, the Republican leader says, careful what you wish for. He'll make it even worse if you went through with this reform to end the abuse of these obstruction tactics. Take a listen to Mitch McConnell.
Nobody serving in this chamber can even begin to imagine what a completely scorched earth Senate would look like.
Congressman, he seems to be saying if they do what you're calling for, he'll burn the place down, scorch it. Your response, sir?
Well, I seem to recall a summer known as Mississippi burning. If that's what he's talking about, and I mentioned that on the floor on Friday, we are talking about fundamental voting rights. If you want to extend debate on an issue, a legislative issue, then that's fine. But we're talking about people's right to vote. That is what is at question here. Having your votes counted, having someone pass a law that says you cannot vote on Sunday, you cannot have souls to the polls anymore, you cannot give someone water who is standing in line to vote. You got lines 10 and 12 hours long. Someone gets thirsty, it's going to be a crime if I give them a bottle of water. That's the kind of foolishness that's going on down there in Georgia, and they're going in other places as well.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.